AI The Somnium Files is a visual detective novel story made by the same people who made 999, Virtue's Last Reward and Danganronpa. In it, you play as Date, a detective with an artificial intelligence in his eyeball who must solve a series of murders and discover who is committing them. As the game progresses, the murders become increasingly more interesting, and the way that you interact with the crime scenes also does. This is because the AI in your left eye, called IB, allows you to interact with the crime scenes in different ways, such as X-ray vision, in order to identify different clues that aren't visible to the naked eye. That's a whole lot of eyes, and if you've already played this game, aside from the usual conversation choices that you have in this type of game, the game also centres around you delving inside people's minds in order to discover their secrets. These secrets are of course pertaining to the crimes themselves, and unfortunately not why the game continues to call the lead character Date when it's clearly spelt as Date. These sections allow you to navigate around the environment entirely, unlike the point and click nature of most of these types of game. These sections are also timed, and any interactions that you do within the environment use up some of this time, meaning that you have a fixed amount of time to complete the solution. Now, these sections are good in the fact that you have total control. However, because they are set within a dreamlike scape, some of the puzzle's solutions aren't immediately obvious. For example, you might find a puddle and you might want to take a sample of it, something like that. However, the solution is probably more along the lines of having to thrust your arm into the puddle. As such, I felt that some of these sections came down more to trial and error rather than any kind of logical deduction. There are also some interesting moments where you need to interview suspects. During these interviews, you then puff to them the evidence that you've gathered, and unlike the dream sections, these are a bit more logical. There are even some action sequences which involve quick time events, which help to vary up the gameplay. The story is great, and the game is filled with completely rounded and well realised characters. One of the story arcs in particular I thought was especially sweet is surrounding a young boy and his frustrations at his elderly mother, who is herself suffering with dementia. As always with this type of game, the plot towards the end throws as many curveballs as a professional baseball player. Now, I'm not quite sure why Spike Chunsoft feel the need to throw in so many twists and turns in their story, and I do feel in particular with this game there is a very real danger that these twists will actually retrospectively ruin what is otherwise a good murder mystery. Much like 999 and Virtue's Last Reward, there are multiple paths to go through in order to get the full story. There are also some lovely little Easter eggs and nods to other Spike Chunsoft games hidden within this. Now, I did enjoy this game, however I didn't enjoy it as much as 999 or the superb Danganronpa. I didn't think the story was as compelling as 999 or Virtue's Last Reward, and I didn't feel the characters were as good or as fun as Danganronpa. However, this is obviously just my personal taste, but generally speaking, it is an excellent murder mystery game.
2 surveillance cameras installed at the corners of the ceiling, and 1 camera on a tripod. I hacked each to gain access to their recordings. Look at this.
She's fidgeting around. Is she doing something under the desk?
That's what it looks like. But we need to confirm something before we confront her. We need to know that she's in fact doing something under the desk.
Without turning around?
Yes.
How would I do that? Ah, shit! Iris, what are you thinking? What is that thing? Hey, answer me, Iris!
She's definitely hiding something, Date. Sync with her.